last season we took over at Crystal Palace, sold our best two players and won our first piece of silverware, but if we want to get this team into Europe, we're going to need some serious upgrades in Season 2. And we're actually going to start off this season with some outgoing transfers. After never really getting a look in this season, being displaced as the number one goalkeeper by this man Dean Henderson, Sam Johnson has had enough. He's submitted a transfer request, and with Real Sociedad of all teams coming in with an £8.2 million offer for the 31-year-old, he will be the first man to depart to Spain in this transfer window. After having a couple of opportunities to put his name up in lights, Matthias Franke didn't really grasp the metal when he had the opportunities last season. In fact, he was beaten to the punch by this man Eze and Olise and completely outshone. And with a couple of loan offers coming in for the young Brazilian, also from Spain, the young man will be transfer number 2 to depart as he heads off on a one-year loan spell to Atletico Bilbao. The triple centre-back pairing of William Pacho, Joachim Andersen and Mark Gay proved to be a fairly solid one, meaning this man Rob Holding got absolutely no look in last season whatsoever. And with another club from La Liga all too keen to take his services away from Crystal Palace, it's departure number 3 to Spain, to Villarreal for £3.4 million. And finally, with the likes of Czech Decore and Adam Wharton forming a formidable partnership at the heart of my midfield, and Jefferson Lerma proving to be an able deputy, it left Will Hughes, the 29-year-old, now 74 rated, completely in the dust. And after being approached by Galatasaray in Turkey, he's another man who leaves the Premier League for a fee of £3.1 million. And after being able to get rid of a few more players having returned back from their loan spells with absolutely no future at the club, the board have granted us with a budget of £103 million to spend this season. But of course, with that big budget comes greater responsibility, with the board wanting me to do something I couldn't achieve last season, qualifying for the Europa League and the Premier League, reaching the semi-final of the FA Cup, and also winning the Europa Conference League, a competition I didn't even realise I was in. And as you can see, looking at this squad with all of those departures, we are very much down to the bare bones. So I think some huge replacements and some huge transfers are going to be needed if we want to take this team to the next level. Now, last season we started with this 5-2-2-1 formation, and obviously midway through switched to this more attack-minded 3-4-2-1. And whilst obviously we did have tremendous highs winning the Carabao Cup with this very system against Liverpool, I also think it correlated to a huge drop-off of form in the back end of the season. Now, to be honest, judging by the players that I've got at my disposal and the positions that I need to improve, I don't really feel confident that either of these two setups are the best ones for me moving forward. So instead, I think I'm going to totally mix things up, and instead of having that 3 at the back, I'm going to try and prioritise my attack once again. It allows the likes of Tyrick Mitchell and Daniel Munoz to return back to their usual positions. It will still allow me to maintain the midfield partnership of Decore and Adam Wharton, plus allowing 2 central attacking midfielders, but hopefully allowing to have an extra man up front will offer some much needed support for this man Dominic Solanke. But it also then means a huge decision needs to be made about who are going to be my established first choice centre-back pairing moving forward this season. Now, based on their performances last season, any one of these 3 really do deserve to be in my starting 11, but big managers must make big calls at pivotal moments, and I really feel like now is the time to switch things up and try and provide more support to my attacking players. As for the other areas of the team that I need to improve, with the departure of Sam Johnson, I'm obviously going to need a deputy for this man Dean Henderson. I'm pretty comfortable with my options at left back with the likes of Tyrick Mitchell and Quinton Merlin. I'm also pretty happy with my options at right back with Carl Walker-Peters and Daniel Munoz. Now, Adam Wharton and Czech Decore have both cemented themselves as key and pivotal figures in the heart of my midfield, but with Jefferson Lerma being the only deputy due to the departure of Will Hughes, once again I'm going to try and see if I can improve this area of the pitch as well. Matthias Franke's departure on loan to Atletico Bilbao leaves Raksaki and Fabio Vieira as the only 2 central attacking midfielders at the club. Plus, with me moving to having 2 up front, Dominic Solanke is going to need a long-term partner. Will Jean-Philippe Mateta be that man, or will I also need to bring someone in to try and compete with the 2 men? So I think it's clear this window a backup goalkeeper is needed, a backup central midfielder, a huge signing in central attacking midfield, and potentially a huge signing up front as well. But central attacking midfield is where we are going to begin. Now, Fabio Vieira joined the club last summer from Arsenal, and he had a bit of a shaky start to life in Crystal Palace colours, but he really took it on in the back end of the season and really proved why he was the right signing. And as for Eze and Olise, it actually appeared to go the complete opposite way. He was on fire at the beginning of the season, but he just ran out of steam towards the back end of it, and it really goes to show that we need some improvements and we need some squad depth in that area if we want to take this team to the next level. Now, obviously, all of you guys have provided me with so many different options, all of whom could fit into that position like a glove, but for me, there is one clear player who stands out above the rest as the key man you really want me to sign for Crystal Palace Football Club. He's a man who's been heavily linked to the club in real life after a couple of really successful seasons at Lazio out in Italy, and he's someone whom I think is ready ready to take the next step in his career, move to England and finally get a taste of Premier League football. That is right, we are going to be signing the new number 8, Daichi Kamada from Lazio to join the Crystal Palace revolution here for a fee of £31.3 million. At 27 years of age, he has that something special and he has that experience that we are so desperately craving in that position in central attacking midfield. He's got versatility to be able to play there in central midfield and up front, and he has all the physical, mental and technical stats to prove a really solid signing here for Crystal Palace. The big question is though, will he be sitting on the bench or will he come straight into the starting 11? Who will he replace though, Fabio Vieira or Eze and Olise? But still, with a big chunk of the budget left to spend, I think it's time we turn our attention to our next most important position that we need to improve, and that is up front. Now obviously, once again, we've got several different options to choose from here, and I've got to be honest, Ivan Toney certainly would be the standout one, but with him moving to Napoli and finally getting European football at the highest level, I'm sure he wouldn't really want to return back to Crystal Palace. So instead, I'm going to turn my attention to a man who's been on my radar ever since the start of Season 1. He's another man who's been heavily recommended to me up front, and I'm hoping he is someone who can add a completely different dimension to my attack. He's really starting to make a name for himself out in France with Nice, and now, once again, I feel like he is ready to make the next step in his career, move to the Premier League and get a taste of life in Crystal Palace colours. That is right. It is Terem Moffi who's going to be the second man this summer to join the Crystal Palace revolution here at Selhurst Park, as he will join and become my new number 11 for a fee of just £22 million. He's got absolutely bags of pace, something that we are sorely lacking up front, and with him still being 6'2", he offers not just pace but also that physicality that I'm sure this team are going to need. And with him being just 25 years of age, he still has his best years ahead of him. He's going to go straight into the starting 11 to partner Dominic Solanke up front. But with £43 million still left to spend, it's time to move on to transfer target number 3. Now, I've mentioned time after time after time how reluctant I am to break up the midfield partnership of Adam Wharton and this man, Czech Decore. And as I said, with Jefferson Lerma being an able deputy with a 78 rating, I think it's a really good opportunity for us to try and bring in a young player who could develop here at Crystal Palace. And so that is why I've decided to snap up a young English Scarlet, just 18 years of age, currently plying his trade at Leeds United. He's absolutely lit up the Championship last season, and I think it is about time for him to take the next step in his career. It's time to test himself at the next level, and what better club to do it at than Crystal Palace, a team that have a fabulous reputation for developing young players. That is right, Archie Gray joins Crystal Palace for £9 million. At 74 rated, he's not going to go straight into the starting 11, but he is showing fantastic potential, and at just 18 years of age, this young man has the entire world at his feet. He also offers us a great deal of flexibility, being able to play central midfield, right back and also central defensive midfield, and I'm sure he'll be pretty comfortable getting the opportunity to learn off some more experienced players in the heart of my midfield. And so finally, it's time to turn our attention to in between the sticks. Now, there are two goalkeepers in particular who have been heavily recommended to me, of course, Gavin Bazunu, the first choice goalkeeper at Southampton, or potentially this man, Marcin Bulka, to try and bring him over from Nice. But I've got to be honest, I think at the moment, with him being just 27 years of age, still yet to enter his best goalkeeping prime, and with him being 80 rated, I'm actually pretty comfortable with Dean Henderson being my number 1 goalkeeper. So much so that I think I'm going to change his current kit number from 30 all the way over to him being number 1. So it's confirmed officially that he is top dog here at Crystal Palace Football Club. And so that is why I've decided to go down a slightly different route and bring in a younger goalkeeper who could potentially learn his stripes here at Crystal Palace. And so that is why I've decided to bring in the 23-year-old Polish under-23 international, formerly of Borussia Dortmund, now a free agent here on this career mode, to Crystal Palace on a free transfer. And so with all of our new signings now on the books here at Crystal Palace, it's finally time, with pre-season approaching, to see what sort of first impression they can give to these travelling Crystal Palace fans. And it's also time to see what sort of impact this completely new tactical setup and change is going to have on the fortunes of this football club. And with Kamara already coming deep and just skipping past a couple of challenges and drawing fouls from players, already it looks like the young man is going to have an impact here at Crystal Palace. And with Archie Gray not only making wonderful through balls down one end and crunching interceptions down the other, what sort of impact is the young man going to have? But for me, the most exciting thing is is with Dominic Solanke picking up from where he left off last season, scoring absolute wonder goals. Who knows what the future holds for our fantastic striking partnership. But with pre-season over, there is no better game to start off the new Premier League campaign than an absolutely mammoth clash against the North London Giants, Arsenal, whom we welcome to Selhurst Park for the very first game of this season. What a way to kick off the campaign, and what a way to put a marker down to try and see if we can start off this season a little bit better than we ended last. And here's how the starting 11 looks for my very first game of the season. Of course, this new setup, you can see Henderson in goal, Munoz starts at the back. It is a bold decision, but I've gone with Marquet and Pacho to be my two centre-backs to start, with Anderson, of course, dropping to the bench. Mitchell will start on the left, of course, Decore and Wharton will start in midfield. Vieira is partnered by Kamada. I thought with the drop in form of Raksaki at the back in the last season, Kamada, the new signing, deserved a chance to shine, and of course it is Moffey and Solanke who starts up front. So it's Mitchell to try and drift into the centre, and he's under a bit of pressure, but he's wriggled away from a couple of challenges. He's done a really good job there, and he fires it over to Munoz on the right-hand side, who delivers a wonderful ball into the box, looking for Moffey with his first touch in a competitive Crystal Palace shirt. And my word, he almost got on the end of that one. What a start that would have been. It's Correa for Arsenal into Emil Smith-Rowe. Odegaard skipped away from the challenge of Marquet here, and that's a lovely finish. And just like that, inside the opening 12 minutes, Arsenal take the lead. Well, has this shift to just two centre-backs left me even more exposed? Marquet and Willian Pacho were totally overrun, and Munoz couldn't come across quick enough. And it's a fabulous finish from Odegaard. Just bent it round Dean Henderson. 1-0 Arsenal. There's Pacho yet again under a lot of pressure there as we just try and bait the Arsenal press, and he just about did enough to get away from it as Munoz picks it up on the right-hand side, and now he's managed to skip past the challenge of the Arsenal left-back, drifts over to the right-hand side, tries to fire it in, it's blocked off by Keor, and now it's cleared away. Can we get it out? But we do get it back off of Fabio Vieira, of course. Check Decore will pick it up, and oh my word, tries to strike from distance, but in the end just strikes it straight at the goalkeeper. It's Ramsdale under a bit of pressure with that heavy Crystal Palace press. We've got every single man inside the Arsenal half here, and we've won the ball back high up the field. It's Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton takes it on again, he goes to strike, it's blocked off, but it's speculative efforts at the moment without really being able to carve any clear-cut opportunities open as Arsenal look to try and see if they can carve us open here. It's Saka down the right-hand side. Mitchell tries to come across and cover, does just about enough to force him back, but Odegaard picks it up, the goal scorer, feeds it back into Saka. Arsenal have the advantage and they play on. Mitchell wins it back though, and now Moffey can try and see if he can streak clear. He's got the pace here to try and get away from Gabriel down this left-hand side. Instead he checks back in though. He's going to look for a strike partner, but just takes one touch too many, and in the end loses it in a really good position. There's Pacho now, out to Munoz on the right-hand side, checks back into Fabio Vieira. Munoz gets it back, Munoz to play it across. I was looking for Moffey again, couldn't find him. Nuno Tavares, oh, he's blocked off by the former Arsenal man Fabio Vieira, and now he bursts onto the edge of the box here. He's got options in the box if he can find any. Into Moffey, he's blocked off. Could he have found a better option? It's a big opportunity and one that has gone begging, and once again we knock on the door though of the Arsenal door, and eventually it's Kamada, the new signing, who just drills a header over the bar, much to the dismay of the fans. It was a wonderful ball in, he got up ahead of the defender. Oh, that was another big chance. It's Mitchell once again, this heavy Arsenal press that we managed to get away from here, as Wharton now is going to try and play it out, but he got his pass all wrong there. He had options, didn't manage to find them, and Arsenal win it back once again, and this time it's Correa who picks it up in the centre of the park. We're pressing so high, but Arsenal are just doing everything they can to keep hold of the ball. Eventually, just as I say that, they go and give it away to Kamada. Decore now has it, looks to try and feed it back into the young man. Kamada into the box, on his debut, hits it with his left, it's blocked. Well, with just about 20 minutes remaining on the clock, the cavalry is brought in, and that means it's going to be a debut for youngster Gray. He's going to come on in place of Adam Wharton, and Raksaki will make his return back into the team, and he's going to be the man that's going to take the resulting corner. Flings it into the box, looking for Marquet on his head, forces Ramsdale into another save. Well, it's been much better from Crystal Palace so far this half. We've had several opportunities, but once again, unable to take them. This time floated into Gay once again, but it doesn't manage to reach him this time. Decore, though, will head it back down into Kamada. Back to Raksaki. He checks it back into Kamada, looking for an option. Can't quite find one, but we stay patient. Mitchell has it, floated in, looking for Moffey, and it's Moffey with the diving header, who gets the Crystal Palace equaliser, and he gets his first goal in a Crystal Palace shirt this season. Well, we stayed patient, we waited for the opportunity, and Mitchell with a lovely little dink ball in, and Moffey just got in between the two defenders, and that is a fabulous diving header right into the bottom right-hand corner. The keeper had no chance, the two defenders came unstuck. That is a beautiful finish. It's 1-1. Well, we're back in this game, and now with 15 minutes remaining on the clock, this is anyone's to win, and at the moment, judging by our second half performance, we are looking more likely to be the team that are going to break the deadlock and get ourselves back in the lead, as Gray wins it back, gives it to Raksaki down this right-hand side. He checks back inside, looking for an option, finds Gray once again. Dominic Solanke takes it on with his left and forces the keeper into a save. Well, momentum, that was all we needed, and my word, have we got it now. We are grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck, and we are doing everything we can to claim our first 3 points of the season. Raksaki into the core, shifts it onto his right, gets a bit of space, lines up the shot, blocked off by the Arsenal defenders. But it's Saka now once again. This game is really starting to get stretched end to end here at Selhurst Park, as it's Arsenal now who look to try and see if they can get the winner. It's Saka, right across, gets it back, fires it in. Henderson with a good save. Just under 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining on the clock. Arsenal have a corner, they go short. Saka, of course, the danger man, has it, but Raksaki on as a substitute, full of energy, full of composure, wins it back. And look at this now, he's got the pace and he's got the space to burst into down this right hand side. He's got more energy than any of the Arsenal defenders, and look at him go. What options does he has in the box? He tries to play it across. Trossard, though, also on as a sub, did just about enough to get back and defend. Absolutely fantastic defending from the Arsenal winger. But we've got a corner once again. It's Kamada this time to float it in, looking for the big header. Mark A doesn't manage to find him. It's out to Decore, into Pacho. Pacho, the centre back, lines it up to strike. In the end, it's blocked, and Ramsdale gets a save. But we've got another corner. My word, we are just relentlessly knocking at this Arsenal door. Kamada fires it in once again, looking for Gay, only out as far as Daniel Munoz. Will he get on the second ball? Nods it down, back into Kamada, on his left, lines it up, blocked off by the Arsenal defenders. The referee looks at his watch and blows for full time. Well, my word, what an absolutely electric way to start off Season 2. End-to-end stuff here at Selhurst Park. We looked like we were down and out from the first 45, but we rallied, and it was a fantastic performance in the second. Full time here, it finishes Crystal Palace 1, Arsenal 1. Moffey grabs his first goal of the season, and I'm sure it's one he'll be absolutely delighted with. A fabulously little dinked header into the bottom right-hand corner. Just use that craft and that experience up front just to ghost in between the two defenders, and that is the sort of new dimension that I'm hoping he can add to my attack. As for the rest of my debutants, starting with Diachi Kamada, fairly decent start to life in Crystal Palace colours, it must be said. Yes, he didn't get a goal nor an assist, but he was an important figure throughout the game and did carve out a couple of decent chances. Archie Gray looked incredibly lively coming off the bench, and I'm hoping that's the injection of youth that he'll be able to offer us this season. And whilst I've got to be honest, in the first 45 I did struggle with this new setup. I kind of feel like towards the back end of the second half I was really starting to get used to it, and I'm starting to feel like this could be the option for us moving forward. And with another game right up next, back at home at Selhurst Park, this time against an Aston Villa team, I am eager to see if we can get 3 points on the score sheet for the very first time this season. It's going to be a tough ask, but if our last 45 minutes are anything to go by, I'm pretty confident that we have what it takes to get the better of Aston Villa here today. No changes to the team that drew against Arsenal. I think they've done enough to continue their spot, and hopefully they can build on that here today. It's Pacho over to Mark Gay now to try and bring this one out of defence. Looks short into Adam Wharton. Really nice ball into Solanke, who's come deep here to try and see if he can get himself involved in the play, and he's done just that with a lovely ball into Munoz, and it's blocked off. It's a corner. This is a really good start here, early doors for Crystal Palace, and it's going to be Adam Wharton who's going to be able to take the resulting corner, flings it into the edge of the 6-yard box, and Dominic Solanke, not to be outdone by his striking partner in Game 1, has come along in Game 2 and scored the first goal of his campaign and the first goal of the game here today. A fabulous corner by Adam Wharton, and Dominic Solanke rose highest above the defenders, just got in behind them unawares, and that is a thumping header that the goalkeeper could do absolutely nothing about. Emery's furious, 1-0. So it's Buendia now into Dendoncker for Aston Villa. They've started to get their heads back in gear here and started to find a route back into this game. And they've got one with Yuri Tielemans in the heart of the midfield. Plays it short into Rafa, into Jacob Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey's just blocked off by Munoz. That was a huge challenge. It's Pacho, though, who's going to bring this one out of defence. Looks for the run of Adam Wharton. It's a really good run, and the central midfielder finds himself on the right wing now. He's got options in the box if he can find it. He throws it in too close to the goalkeeper. Adam Wharton just trying to get away from the Aston Villa press here, but we've got every single man inside their half as we look to try and see if we can double our lead. It's Solanke who takes it on, turns, finds Moffey. Moffey with a first-time strike forces the goalkeeper into another save. And it's a corner here that Raksaki is going to take. I actually think I made a bit of a mistake. I thought that I'd kept the same starting 11 against Arsenal, but actually it looks like I've dropped Kamada to the bench and Raksaki is taking his place back in the starting 11. Bit of a mistake from my part, but hopefully the young man can certainly prove that it was the right decision to make, as Munoz now lines it up, strikes it from the edge of the box, and in the end that corner comes to nothing. So it's Rafa now for Aston Villa. Nice little through ball ball into the channel to Ollie Watkins. Buendia plays it back into Dendoncker. Villa starting to get a little spell of possession here on about the 40th minute. Alex Moreno, though, can't go past Munoz. That man has been absolutely sensational, and he's wriggled around a couple of challenges before it goes out for an Aston Villa throw. And it's one that they're going to take quickly here with Jacob Ramsey into Rafa. Lovely little touch right to the edge of the box. Adam Wharton comes across. He hasn't done enough to win it back, though, and Rafa still has it. We're trying to block him off with Munoz. He's doing just about enough to hold him off, but Ollie Watkins forces Henderson into a good save. Right on the stroke of half-time, we have to keep our composure. We have to try and see if we can hold on to this 1-0 lead at the break. It's headed clear there by Mark Gay. Can he get out ahead of the defender? He can't, but Dominic Solanke can't get there either. Buendia is blocked off. It's Dendoncker who wins it back. Moffey loses it in a dangerous position. Ollie Watkins now gets past my defenders and smashes it past Dean Henderson to level it up here for Aston Villa. It's slack defending at the back is all I can say. Mark Gay has to do better than that. He was just sold a dummy by Ollie Watkins and he completely and utterly fell for it. Hook, line and sinker. Fabulous finish. 1-1. Well, that's really disappointing. We wanted to end the half 1-0 up, and now going in a 1-1, that really changes the complexion of the game, and it gives all the momentum right back to Aston Villa here, and it's one that they're looking to try and see if they can take advantage of. But Mark Gay makes amends for his earlier mistake, but then goes and gives away a free kick in a very dangerous area in the process, and now it's one that Buendia is going to take here. He's going to look for the dummy, plays it short into Jacob Ramsey on the edge of the box here, still has it. Munoz, though, blocks it off. That man has been absolutely fantastic so far. The right back brings it clear. What options does he have? Floats it across to Fabio Vieira. Beautifully done. The young man takes it down on his chest, lines up the strike. What a one-handed save from Martinez. Tielemans now into Dendoncker. Out to Rafa. Rafa's going to try and bring it forward into Buendia. He's going to come back into the centre of the park here. Ollie Watkins with a lovely little touch and turn away from Adam Wharton. And now Yuanlu down this right-hand side. Pacho comes across, doesn't do well enough. It's into Ollie Watkins. It's back into the centre. It's saved by the goalkeeper. It falls straight back out to Rafa, though. And just like that, Aston Villa return the game on its head. Once again, it's defensive lapses in concentration, and we're just not able to get to the ball first every single time. I look like I'm about to put a challenge in. Aston Villa just moved the ball on, and in the end, Dean Henderson just palmed it straight back into the path of the striker, and Aston Villa are not going to miss from there. 2-1. But it's time to call the cavalry. My earlier mistake now is proving to be costly. Raksaki goes off. Kamada comes on. Let's see if he can try and ignite some sort of spark and creativity into my attack. Mark Gay turns it round the corner, does a really good job of getting away from the defender, and Adam Wharton plays it through the channel. That's a lovely ball into Fabio Vieira, looking for the cutback, finds the cutback into Moffey, who drags it wide. Adam Wharton out to Mitchell. Now it is all hands on deck here as we try and see if we can find a route back into this game. Decore now has it. He's got this chance to play it across the box. Solanke was there. What an interception by the Aston Villa centre-back. Otherwise, that for sure was going to be 2-2. Mitchell into Kamada once again. Decore now into Moffey. Checks onto his right. Goes to strike. Blocked off by the Aston Villa defenders once again. Villa now have it, though, on the right-hand side with Buendia, and it's a lovely ball into Ollie Watkins. And Ollie Watkins has the pace to get away from both of my centre-backs and get away from Tyrick Mitchell. It's into Buendia on the edge of the box here, looking for some sort of space to try and see if he can deliver a ball into the box. Finds Ollie Watkins. They get a corner. It's one that Tielemans is going to take here. Backs to the wall stuff as we try and make sure we do not throw away our chances of a route back into this game. Rafa into Dendoncker on the edge of the box. Tielemans lines up the power shot straight at Henderson, and this time he just manages to get onto the loose ball. Munoz into Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton turns it around the corner, does a good job to get away from the challenge of the defender, and now checks back inside. Really good play from the Englishman. Plays it out to the right back, Munoz, and Munoz now streaks past the defender, fires it into the box. It's a good ball, not good enough though. Kamara intercepts. Jacob Ramsey into Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins plays it into Tielemans. Blocked off, though, by Mark Gay. We're deep into stoppage time now. Munoz into Adam Wharton. Plays it forward into Fabio Vieira. This is last chance saloon here for Crystal Palace. Couldn't play it through the channel. Blocked off. The referee looks at his watch and blows for full time. Well, we've gone from an Arsenal game where we were poor in the first 45 minutes to being good in the second. And now we've gone to this Aston Villa game being fantastic in the first 45 and then completely losing our heads right at the back of it and in the second half as well. What is happening here at Crystal Palace? Not the start we wanted. As it finishes here at full time, Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 2. Well, I've got to be honest, I thought that we'd made all the right signings in this window, but I don't know whether or not it's a new setup problem, because whatever it is, judging by our opening 2 games of the Premier League campaign, things are just not clicking here at Crystal Palace Football Club. Let me know down in the comments below, should I stick with this new setup or should I default back to what worked so well for us at the start of last season? Let me know what you think, but for today, that is it for this episode. Thank you everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.